Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
So you are giving up two definite sources of income and getting into something which is, maybe decent source of income. And it was a huge risk. And it was for me at that time a now or never kind of a scenario. And I took that risk. I jumped into it, and I'm very happy actually that it paid off very well.
Sir, they call JBIMS as the CEO factory. Did you at any point of time harbor similar ambitions when you were on campus that I also will become a CEO one day? So then, sir, how did you end up becoming a teacher?
I mean, whether you formally define it or not, whenever you are on a campus, and that too a campus like JVIMS, you definitely, whether it's said outright or not, you want to become a CEO, or let me not use the term CEO, but you want to end up in a top role or a top position. Everyone wants to do that. My experience at JBIMS was a little slightly different because I used to work before I got into my management education. And 1 year into my course, my previous company actually already told me that once your MBA is done, please come back to the company. And which is why I kind of opted out of the entire placement process. So I was never part of the placement process. I went back into my previous company in a different role now. Earlier, it was a technical role basis my engineering degree, but now I went into more of a sales and marketing or management kind of a role. After my MBA, even while I was working in whichever corporate that I was working in, somewhere at the back of my mind, I had this drive to do something on my own, an entrepreneurial kind of a drive. I tried out a couple of things. While I was with the technology company, I tried something out. It did not go through. While I was with the multinational bank, I tried out something that also did not go through. But that whole, if I can use the word kida of doing something on your own, it was still kind of, eating me up. And as I mentioned earlier, I come from a background of education. My parents have been into education. So somewhere then, when I was kind of deciding to move out of a traditional corporate career, somewhere there I thought, why not education? It was in December 2002 where I actually decided to take the plunge. And having got almost like 3 years of experience of having trained students in a visiting faculty role for CAT and CET and other exams, I decided to take the plunge, and I launched CPLC at that time in December 2002. And that's how I got into MBA entrance training and as an entrepreneur.
Sir, can you tell us about that moment when you said December 2002 is when you decided? So what were the triggers at that point of time? I understand you had the kira to do it, but then
Yeah.
eventually you still have to take that final step at some point of time.
Correct.
So what was that trigger, or what was the situation that eventually prompted you to do it?
So again, it's a very strange kind of a situation. And a lot of my students, okay, thought I had lost it. December 2002, my dad was due to retire from his full-time job. At that time, I kind of had a thought that if dad retires and if we really need to, kind of do well enough to sustain the family over a period of time, and, as you had mentioned, that CEO kind of role, which automatically comes with good earnings and all. So I realized that if I have to think a little long term, I will need to get into something of my own, which I can scale up, build up, and earn well. While this was a huge risk, and which is why my students also thought that I had lost it. And you are already in a job which has a short source of income. So you are giving up two definite sources of income and getting into something which is, maybe decent source of income. And it was a huge risk. And it was for me at that time a now or never kind of a scenario. And I took that risk. I jumped into it, and I'm very happy actually that it paid off very well.
So are there any learnings that you'd like to share with like education entrepreneurs like me or other people, who are watching this, how do you think they can do things better, or something, some insights that you have?
Few very important learnings for me. One is, be ready to change with changing times. So be ready to adapt to changing environment. Very, very critical. In any case, if you don't adapt to the changing environment, you'll be wiped out. A few other things that I learned in my journey as an entrepreneur. There will be ups and downs. Okay. There will be good times and bad times. If you stick to your core principles, if you stick to what you genuinely believe in, and if you do that well, it will really help you tide over these so-called bad times or bad phases, and it may just be a temporary phase. So things will not always be very rosy. There may be ups and downs, but you need to be prepared to handle the downs along with the ups that you've been maybe handling. So it's fine, it happens. Personalized education was the core, was the motto with which CPLC was born, and we continued that. I mean, even when we increased the batch size, we increased it to maybe 25 or 30. We never went beyond that. So personalized education was the key. But what I realized from my first year to the second year, okay, is the fact that when students who were passing out or who were moving out of the institute passed on the feedback to others, saying that we got our money's worth. And that's where I realized within that 1 year that the most important thing in this education industry is the word of mouth feedback that you get. Any amount of money that you spend, any amount of marketing that you do, yes, marketing helps in being in that list and being remembered, having being in that as a top of mind recollect, or whatever you may want to call it. But eventually what matters is the feedback that your outgoing students are giving about you. One more thing that I've realized, Ankit, over the years is that while I realize this in education, I think this will be true for any field, any industry. Quality is supreme. I mean, if whatever you're doing, if that is not of high quality, okay, you may get customers. I'm right now using the term customers. You may get students joining, but if the quality is not good, you may either lose them midway, or these same customers or students who are not happy with what you're doing will ensure that next year you don't get students.
When you decide to, sell something that you built, ground up from your own, with your own hands, and how is that decision made?
So when I started off, I was practically functioning as a single center setup from December 2002 till about June 2008. I used to operate out of a single center setup. And I mean, it's a decision that you need to make, and there are pros and cons to both, whether you want to expand or you want to remain a single center setup. There are advantages, there are disadvantages. I'm not getting into that. I decided at that time to kind of expand, and that's when we started our second center, third center, fourth center, and so on. And once you start off on this expansion phase, okay, you get into the expansion mode. I'm not too sure if you can say that I will only expand to this level and not beyond that. I mean, then it's a matter of how much more can you do types. And we decided to go all out. And then there was a point where the decision to be made was whether you want to go all out and expand on your own, which is either put in your money or raise funds and on your own expand, or join up with a large entity and expand along with that large entity. So at that time, the decision that we made was to align with the large entity because that would be faster expansion, is the way we analyze that. This is, I mean, whether it's an emotional or a practical kind of a decision, it comes to that eventually. The first thing that I had to accept was I had to get out of a hardcore primary teaching role to more of a management kind of a role. That was the more difficult thing to do rather than, decide to actually merge with somebody and sell out. But if the harder thing, which was getting out of the primary teaching role and getting into a management role, was possible, the other was definitely possible.
So, sir, you obviously agreed to be a coach for our community and be a mentor. So, for people who are watching this, who do you think can benefit by doing a program with you? Who do you think you can help the most?
Students are also kind of, thinking about many different kinds of things, or students are thinking about, what are the various things that I can do, I can get into, what are meaningful career options, and so on and so forth. I think I can help out students or people who've just completed their education and started working and maybe are looking at some kind of a career shift and how to decide what career shift and all of those things. I mean, I have genuinely always believed in not telling a student what to do, but engaging in a discussion with a student and helping the student realize what is best for him or her. Because genuinely, I believe in the fact that nobody can tell you what to do. Okay, because every individual is different. I can get into a discussion and help the student realize what his or her strengths are, what he or she would enjoy doing, and that would be my approach really, in terms of whether you call it counseling or mentoring or whatever you may want to call it.
Yeah, one word of endorsement from my side, because I have been Sir's student and I have seen him coach tens of people around me. And he's also helped me personally as well when I was doing my CAT prep and deciding whether I should take one more attempt, which B school I should join, etc. How can I improve my mock scores, etc. So from there on till what career to be chosen, etc. I think Sir is one of the best people that I know currently who can help. And like he said, he's one of the few people who genuinely cares about the goodwill of the student. And this I can, endorse, as somebody who's actually been through that process with him. So that I think will definitely be something that, people should think about. Thank you so much, sir, for this. I think it was extremely insightful and helpful. Great to go through your journey, both with respect to how you got into B school, how you ran your own enterprise, and what you are doing with sports now. And absolutely thrilled to have you as a coach on our platform. So I just want to tell everyone before I sign off again that Sir is one of the best coaches you could have potentially from now on until CAT day or any other exam that you are taking. And even if there are other doubts with respect to your career, I think one person that you can trust is Parag sir. So yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Ankit. It's a pleasure to be a part of this. I have always thoroughly enjoyed counseling, mentoring, helping students, and you are just helping me continue with what I love doing. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and I'm really happy to be here.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Anybody who's interested in signing up, the link is going to be available in the description and in the comments. Please feel free to register for this anytime you want. So yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Hi guys, Inside IIM has come up with an exciting new one-on-one mentorship product where you get to interact with superstar managers from different businesses, different functions. You can ask them everything around your career, your education, your future success. If you are interested, the link is in the description below. Thanks.